Hey, Mike, it's me, Ian, and in today's video, well, I'm going to look at this. Now, this is a series that I get on and off. I don't know how frequent they are, but say my local shop, Giri, she gets a lot of my things, and they just come through every so often. And now, this one has come through, and this is a really fascinating, exciting one to get. This series is called Doctor Who Chronicles. And this, yes, in the 60th anniversary year, is where it all began. This is a look at Doctor Who from 1963, when it started, right through to the end of 1964. And it's brilliant. It's so fascinating. And I'd just like to go through some of the things in here. I don't want to go too long because you know me once I get off, but it's an excellent look at Doctor Who, and you know, history and Doctor Who, you can't beat it, can you? Just love seeing how it all evolved and developed. Fantastic. Anyhow, so here's the cover. Great cover. Look at that. That's actually embossed. Look at that. Fantastic cover. There's the back. An advert there. Look at that. Fantastic. So let's get into it. Right. Okay. So the first thing that gets me, of course, is just a look at it's like an introduction about, they call it Strange Days, and it's a look of, well, they didn't know where Doctor Who would go, develop, how it would develop, and if it would last. You know, a lot of series start and that's it. You don't hear anymore. There's one series and that's it. So this is just a look at that sort of period in time of Doctor Who, right at the beginning and in its development. And that's just a look. So just an overview of it. And it's true, any series, you know, you don't know how it's going to be changed. So it's giving you an overview of all this. And also that's interesting about what's going on in the world in this period of time as well, which often is reflected in programs as well. And then here we are, the Diary of Doctor Who. How it all began, a month-by-month account of the series' first year on air. So, we start in November 1963. There it is. How it all began, the introduction and publicity. And, of course, it's got off to quite an underwhelming start because it was dominated by the assassination of President Kennedy in America. And then we get on to December, January, continuing each month. There we are. Some great. Look at that. Sorry, I just see that the theme tune on a single. Yes, the theme tune, the iconic theme tune on Decca Records. And then we got more each month continuing. More stills, talk about what was actually going on in each month. Then this right through again. I always love seeing the Radio Times as well, and you know, when it made the front page of this, and there's the December going right through to December 1964, and the progress they had made. How there would be no doubts that it would get a second series. It was a success. Then we look at the very first story, which is 100,000 BC. There's a look at that as the first story, which, if you look at it now, the actual pilot episode, Unearthly Child, is fantastic. I don't think I quite say that about the rest of the story. You know, it's okay, but it's a step in the dark. And I think it was just seen as, you know, it wasn't outstanding, but it was, of course, the next story that would be the real change. Here we have a look at William Hartnell and his career. And this was his last great role, if you want to say it, William Hartnell. As an actor, he was well-known British. Well, well-known. He was known in particular in his circles, and the films. He had a rich history of film roles. I think one of his famous is because he's in Brighton Rock, which is a classic film. He was in that. And of course, I like this, the fact he was in Carry On Sergeant, which is mentioned there. Yes, Carry On Sergeant. Then there's a look about him and how he really embraced the role of the Doctor. I think he could see, you know, this was his big career shot, really. Then we get into now, it's called The Mutants, and that was the working title story, The Mutants. But of course, it's the Daleks, the Dalek story. Yes, without the Dalek story, would Doctor Who have been successful? I don't think it would have. I think it's that important. The Dalek story really changed. It was a massive importance. It really was. And what a great story that was. Then there's the thing about the evolution of the Daleks from that story. And how it became, I suppose, a cultural phenomena. The Daleks were... There's lots about the Daleks there. I mean, that's so true. They were a cultural phenomenon. They got into the mainstream. Then there's one of these, the two-part story inside the spaceship. These were often seen as fillers, no location filming. You could do them in the studio really quickly. And in a production that was seen as a good thing. And it gave you a chance for some character study in many ways as well. And it's quite a good story, you know, the two-parter. And then we've got a look at the radiophonic workshop, which was behind the music, which is extremely important in context of a lot of things. The radiophonic workshop was all about that. Not just in Doctor Who, but across the board. But in Doctor Who it was. Then here's the story a lot of people wish was in the archive and will be discovered this year. Marco Polo. It's really well thought of, but it's one of the missing stories. The missing stories. Yeah, the amount of effort and put into this story apparently is amazing. And the costumes and the writing of the story. It's the great historical adventure, which is what, of course, they wanted the series to be about, the history as well as sci-fi. And then, interestingly enough, we get into the costumes, because costumes are so important, especially if you're doing historical stories, as well as the sci-fi. You know, you design the stories, the look, it's all in there. Yeah. More it is a fascinating look, really. And then we get on to a sci-fi story, The Keys of Marinus. All these in the very first season. And then we've got a look at William Russell. A great interview with him. He's such a fantastic actor that he's been such a servant to Doctor Who. I mean, he played the part of Ian Chesterton so well. He was an important, very important part of that dynamics. He really was. And there he is there right through to, yes, The Power of the Doctor. He appeared in that. Yes, a cameo appearance. What a great contributor to Doctor Who's history, and a great man. Really fantastic. And then we've got the talks about how the production team had to develop this series with a very limited budget, and the plans, the ideas that they had, how they would fit all this and be very creative in the amount of money they had, and the stories. I mean, the scope of the stories, big budget sort of ideas, when they haven't got the big budget. And then we get on. Now, this is a very popular historical story, the Aztecs. It's well thought of, that. Possibly one of the best historical stories that they did, the Aztecs. And then they've got an article about how the program was perceived by viewers, looking at the what they saw in the media at the time, and just people's general reactions. And I suppose how they fell in love with the series. Yes, from probably being initially a bit more lukewarm. And then we've got a look at the merchandise and toys. And there's a bit about the records. Yeah, look at that there. I'm going to spend my Christmas with a Dalek, the Go-Go's. Not the Go-Go's, the Go-Go's. Yes, look, the Go-Go's. Yes. Fantastic, isn't it? All this at that time. And this brings it all back to me. The sweet cigarettes that you would never get nowadays. They call them candy sticks or cigarette stick. Well, not cigarettes. But these cards, I remember them. I remember buying them and loving these packs. You get these packs and you got these wonderful, colourful cards. Oh, what a joy they were. As a child, I as a Doctor Who fan, I absolutely loved it. I used to say to my mum, "Come on, man, I want some of these cigarettes. Hey, Neil, lad, you can't smoke. You're too young." But and then nobody bothered really. They were just sat there, and they were lovely. I loved eating them. And then there's about the toys, the Daleks. Of course, I wanted one, and I got one for my 5th birthday. Yeah, these toy Daleks, they were fantastic. Oh, wow. Then there's about the books here. Oh, that came out at the time, and now it developed into the comics. Then we've got the next sci-fi story, which was The Sensorites. A very interesting sci-fi concept. And then we've got the special effects. Yes. Wow. This is what a story. Again, the budget. How do you create all these wonderful special effects? The models they built. Oh, yeah. The CGI was just non-existent then, of course. This was how you did special effects. Fantastic. Oh, they were so great. Then we've got the very last story of the first season, The Reign of Terror, historical one, the French Revolution story. And there are rumours that there may be discovered episodes of this, but we'll see. And it would be interesting to have a complete lot of this. Yes, but anyhow, rumours is always going to happen. But we can hope that we find some of the lost episodes. Then there's a look at Barbara character Jacqueline Hill, who played a wonderful actress. Jacqueline Hill was sadly no longer with us. She played Barbara, and what beautifully she played Barbara. Yeah, wonderful. And Barbara and Ian were great companions. Yeah. And we got to know them and really loved them. Everybody has can't say anything bad about these people. They were so wonderful. They really were, and so committed to what they were doing. Absolutely fantastic. And then we've got the opening episode story of the second season, Planet of the Giants. Yes, Planet of the Giants. Wonderful the way they did this story. Very creative. It was 3 parts, wasn't it? Yeah, 3 parts. And it's available on the Doctor Who collection. Yes, season 2 is actually on that. There's only a couple of missing episodes. It's the most complete black and white series. Then we've got about look at the designs, the ideas behind the designs of the series. Fantastic again. I love where people talk about what the look they wanted in all these stories. Designers, amazing stuff. Absolutely. Getting behind creative minds. Then we've got now this, I think I'm quite safe to say this is one of the great, overall, throughout Doctor Who history, the great stories. And then we're trying to get a sort of cinematic feel before we actually got the Dalek films into the cinema. It was, and of course they based their second Dalek film on this Dalek Invasion of Earth story. I mean, what a story. And it looks good. It's got so much, it became an iconic Dalek story. It is up there with the great Dalek stories, it really is. You could put this easily, I think, in the top 10. And easily, no problem at all in the whole history. I think it could even get in the top 5. Yeah. I think there's a possibility it would definitely be in the top 5 Dalek stories. Then there's a look at Susan, which is Carol Ann Ford. She played Susan. And I've got a feeling in this 60th anniversary, we may see Susan again. I've got a very strong feeling that there's certainly good hints that we are going to see her again. And she does a lot for Doctor Who still. Wouldn't that be great to see Susan? Yeah, I think it would be. Then they're talking about the location filming. And look, there's the Dalek Invasion of Earth iconic photograph with Houses of Parliament there. Oh, it added so much, didn't it? And it brought that. Look, there's even here when we got the Daleks in Trafalgar Square. Fantastic. It was that important episode. The Daleks was the important episode in terms of bringing Doctor Who into wider recognition. It really made the series. But that was the progress that had been made and that to produce such an episode. Then there's about the press reaction and popularity of the Daleks, which of course was massive. As I say, it became a cultural, iconic image, the Daleks. And kids like me were just excited by them going around the playground going exterminate and all that sort of stuff. We loved it, yes. The excitement, it's hard to explain sometimes, Times were different, you only had 2 TV channels when this was out, and it was everything. It was exciting. And then seeing all the merchandise and so the excitement of those sweet cigarettes and the cards and the comics. And wow, it was just a wonderful time. Then we've got a look at television itself and how television was just beginning to change a lot. In fact, the whole thing has changed. As we know, we've got the Beatles in terms of music and culture. We've got greater freedoms with Lady Chatterley's trial about books and censorship. We've got fashion, the changes in modernist fashion, TV shows that were becoming groundbreaking. And in terms of like television history, you had all the great programs like, well, here, look, Twilight Zone, My Favorite Martian, Fireball XL5. Yes, the Jerry Anderson stuff was coming in. And these American things like the Twilight Zone, what an important program that is in terms of sci-fi. And it just carries on, amazing programs that were being produced. And I think of the Irving Allen stuff as well. Lost in Space that would come, and amazing programs that we really loved at the time. That's it, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I was just trying to think of that. All these that started to pop up on our television screens. The 2, and then we got 3. We got BBC 2. Yeah, this is just fascinating, and that's it. I've done better than I thought. I could have gone on a lot longer, as you know. But yeah, this is a great addition to my collection. I've really enjoyed this. If you want to know about Doctor Who history, try and get hold of this, because it is going to get you excited. Or maybe it won't, but it gets me excited. I'm super excited by this because Doctor Who, here it is. Here it is, how it all began. Fantastic. So, I hope you've enjoyed that excursion. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And we talk about, films, reviewing, all things nostalgia as well, and collectibles, and you'll see all the stuff anyhow. Hopefully. You might not like it, you might do it anyhow. And if you like this video, please give it a like. It helps with algorithms, as they say, and people hopefully will enjoy it. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I'd love to hear what you think about it. And that's it, really. It all costs note as well, so nowadays that's £3 I'll tell thee. Hey, bike. Anyhow, so all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.